Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. The openings in both these walls are complete. Now let's get these walls wrapped up. I had this heater on this all night last night, and this was just like catching the heat rising up and making it go into the tube. Got to do my burning today as well. But now this pipe should be plenty sturdy so I can rip this beastly tape off. This Gorilla tape is the best. Yeah, real nice and firm. So I got to get these vacuumed out, but first I'm going to go around and cut off all these screws. There's way more on the other side than this side. I got to cut off all these screws, and then my blocking, I don't know what the hell I was thinking before, but the blocking needs to be a full 2x4. That gives me this amount of blocking for this wall, and then I need another one connected to that. So I can pre-assemble these, but it would be pretty hard to attach it to the wall then. I'm going to have to pocket screw this into the wall. So it's not going to be as easy as I was thinking. I'm going to have to go cut some lumber for this. So once that's done, then out of what's left of this Roxul, I believe I can get one of these completely insulated with that, but I'm not sure, because I got the two bays here, and then I have rolls of insulation over in the shed, but I really don't even know what size that is, but that'll have to go in. That's regular fiberglass insulation, but it is what it is. That's what's going to go in. So got a lot to do. Let's get started on this. Alright, now I just need to set up horses in this total mess. I have a bin here. This is what I brought everything over with yesterday. This is all firewood. This is all going to get in that bucket and go in the house. I'm going to start filling this bin with some of this stuff. The vast majority of this can go over to the other side. I don't know. I might go get the gator today, pull the gator back here, and start offloading some of this stuff. Most of this stuff can go. All I need are the tools to finish up this wall and the drywall tools, and everything else can get out of here. Once that stuff is done, I'm going to be mudding and taping and stuff for a while. Then I need to put a ceiling in here, and I believe all I'm going to need is a brad nailer and a compressor for that. So I'll just bring that stuff over when it's needed. Then when that's done, I'll be putting the floor in. And that is just sleepers, and then foam, and then a subfloor. And there's not a whole lot to it. It's going to be a lot easier than putting the drywall on the ceiling, because the sleepers just get laid on the floor. The foam just gets laid on top of that. And then when I put the subfloor in, that will be screwed through the foam and into the sleepers. It's pretty interesting. I'll show you that when it gets to it. But the sleepers will be spaced so that if there's ever flooding in here, the water can run and get to that drain right there. It's going to be the same way in the house. So the foam is just going to be 3/4 of an inch above the floor, and there's going to be pretty much, I don't know if I'm going to do 2 foot or if I'm going to go with 16 on center, but the sleepers are going to be spaced out, and then they'll have gaps here and there so that water can make its way to that drain if water gets in here. If there's ever a leak, like if a window was left open and there's a big storm, you could get a whole bunch of water, and if that gets under the floor and into that subflooring and there's no place for it to go and no air gap down there, you would have a rotten mess in a very short while. Okay, so I'm going to have to set something up. I'll probably move my carburetor stuff and set up a little bench there. My wife told me, where is that? I was thinking it was a Black & Decker drywall knife, but it's actually just an electric knife, a Black & Decker electric knife. And you've seen how well that worked on this Roxul. This Roxul is just real difficult stuff to cut. And I don't know where she got that from, maybe on YouTube or something. But this works awesome on that. I'm not sure how well it works on regular insulation, but I can give it a try. This is going to be a mixture of both. I'm going to go through and use up the rest of this, and then I'll have to run to the other side and see what I got for regular insulation. Okay, let's get this set up. Well, there's my setup. Just put a board on the floor. For the most part, I have to cut the edges of this stuff. That's 16 inches wide. I got to cut it down to 14, which are some long cuts. So this will work just fine. I don't have a huge amount of it to do. So that looks like what I have there. May get this done, but I don't know if it'll get the whole thing done. All right, let's get this stuff cut. This has less like airborne stuff, less than fiberglass, and it's incredibly dense. This is really good for soundproofing, and it's not affected by moisture. So this is really good stuff, but it's expensive. And I don't know if we're going to get another one just to get that done. And they don't have this at Menards. We have to order it from Lowe's, and I believe the nearest Lowe's is about 100 miles away. Oh well, let's get this edge trimmed. that is one almost down. I still have this bay to do. This is all of the big Roxul, and that's what's left. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put a little bit in the bottom of this one, and I'm going to fill the bottom of those two, because this stuff is a lot better with moisture, and if anywhere is going to get moist, it's going to be down at the bottom. I'll use up every little bit of this stuff. And then I have regular fiberglass insulation over in the shed, and I'll go get that for the rest of this stuff. But just a tip with this is pocket screwed. It's a full board. When you're doing construction with these, where is my jig? You want to go a good inch in from the edge. That way your screw isn't going to mess up the board that you're screwing to something. I'll show you that again when I do this board for that side. So now I have my corner. I was thinking wrong on this before for some reason, but it is correct. So when I put it in, the drywall is just going to go straight across and onto here, and the same thing here. But this gets a 2-inch cleat right here, or a half stud. So this wall will end right here. Good, good, good. All right, it is 5 minutes to 12. So I'm gonna go have a quick lunch, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna go take Izzy for a walk in this nice sunshine. She will really like that. And then on the way back, I'll see what I have for fiberglass insulation. I really hate to use fiberglass, but we have some laying around, and it's just gonna lay around forever if I don't use it. And the insulation quality, I believe, is roughly the same, but Roxul does have a lot better properties to it. If I were doing another building, I would just use all this, I think. All right, let me go have lunch, and then we'll take Izzy for a walk. Okay, insulation. I'm gonna guess this is it right here, but oh, I'm sure that looks real freaky. Lights are flashing. LEDs sometimes don't do very well in cold weather. Okay, so these are for 2x4. which kinda sucks, except that they're unfaced, so I should be able to just use 2 thicknesses of them. Oh, maybe not. With fiberglass insulation like this, you don't want to compress it. And the 2x4s, that's for a 3.5-inch wall. And I have 5.5-inch walls. So I should peel it a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of a pain in the butt, but... And then hopefully, the only other thing that needs to be insulated is this wall right here. And it looks like between the 2 of these, I should have enough for that as well. My goal would be to have 0 insulation by the time I'm done with these 2 projects. Okay, I got quite the mess here, so what I think I'm going to do is just get this unrolled, install it, get the rest of my Roxul in the bottoms, and then I'll get back with you in just a second. We got her all insulated. Got the Roxul here and regular insulation on the other side because I ran out of Roxul. And like I said, this is going to come out whenever my wires go through it. And I don't want it all the way up against the drywall because it'll get caught in the router bearing, and I don't want that. But other than that, it looks beautiful. That was a lot of work. This stuff was faced after all, and I don't use faced insulation on this stuff. I will be using faced on that very last wall on room 13, so it's kind of lucky for that. But other than that, none of this stuff can be faced because it has a vapor barrier on the outside. So if you put a vapor barrier on both sides, you have a vapor sandwich, which is very bad. Any water that gets in there stays in there and keeps accumulating because it can't get out either way. So all of my insulation is unfaced. Any moisture that makes its way into the wall during the winter will make its way back out of the wall during the summer. And very little moisture will get in there to start with. All of the outlets are gasketed, and I tape up all the joints, all of the joints that don't have mud tape. So it's really hard for moisture to get in there, but anything that does comes right back out in the next season. Yeah, if I were to put a vapor barrier on here, I would have a rotten wall within a year or two. And don't want that. This stuff down here When I open that up, that's this stuff. Nice and fluffy still after 10 years. Not a hint of moisture damage. So tomorrow I have to cut that pipe off, and then pretty much just like the rest of the place, I got to screw a dead man to the bottom, get that sheet cut, and then that sheet will go here. Then this one will go at the bottom. And then this wall is 100% moisture resistant, as will these walls once I'm ready for them. And then this one is going to be regular drywall again. Kind of a mixed match, but it is what it is. We have a sink over here and we have water pipes and stuff, so I think it's just best to use the mold and moisture resistant drywall over here, and it's completely unneeded over there, so no use in paying the extra money for it. So that's the plan for tomorrow. Get the drywall in both of these and then see what I'm going to need for the rest of this wall and clean up. And by clean up, I mean I'm going to start taking stuff out of here and moving it over to the shed. This is going to be very clean when I'm done. I don't know if I'll be able to get that all done tomorrow, but I'm going to start. All right, if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.